Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to another video. This is another what sold on eBay video, but it's a little bit different. Today it's going to be 10 items that have sold for me over $50. Now, 8 of these items have come from eBay and 1 is from Poshmark, just to switch things up a little bit. And I'm going to show you 1 additional item that I have been selling over on Amazon for a pretty good profit, and it's an item that you guys can still find at your essential stores when you're out doing your essential shopping and everything. You can find it at Walmart's and flip it for a pretty good profit. I've also flipped some of these locally, so stay tuned. I've got some good bolos for you guys, and I hope you enjoy this video. If you do enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave me a comment if you learned something today. And one last thing before we get started, this video's positive comment shout out goes to Janice A. She says, "Your detailed descriptions help me to remember something about the items, so I will know at least to look them up. Thanks, Ben." Janice, thank you for the comment. I really appreciate the support and you watching my videos. I'm glad that going into some of these details about items is helping you in your own reselling business. With all that being said, let's hop right into it. The first item we're going to look at here is this Hot Wheels Redline Indy Eagle race car from 1969. This was a pretty cool piece. You might remember I picked this up in a estate sale in one of my videos. I think I ended up paying between 25 cents and $1 for it, and I ended up making the sale at $82. You can see right here I had it listed at $99.95, and it was listed since right before the shutdown happened. But I figured $82 is a pretty good offer. I'm not going to pass it up, and I'm not going to be greedy considering I don't have much into the car. And I wanted to share this one with you guys because it's definitely something that you can still find out at garage sales and yard sales and estate sales. If there's like a toy bin or something, dig through it. You might get lucky and find something like this. If you're not very familiar with Hot Wheel cars, what you want to look for when it comes to older ones to easily be able to identify them is look for this red ring around the tires. That is what makes it a red line Hot Wheel car. And seeing that red line around the tires is a pretty good indicator that it is a older model and a model that probably has some kind of monetary value to it. Now, most red lines end up selling between like 15 and 20 bucks for just like your common generic ones, but there are some that sell for some very, very good money, well above even what this one sold for me for. And the things that you want to look for when it comes to that kind of stuff are the little subtle differences in the different cars. So there are specific colors that sell for more, there are specific accessories on the cars that sell for more, and even some of the stickers can make a huge difference in the value of these cars. For this one specifically, the thing that made this one stand out compared to some of the other ones of the same model is the fact that it had this white interior on the inside. Now, the common ones have a like tannish interior, which is the lesser valued one, but the fact that this one had a white interior is what made it stand out and be worth so much more. And it's really important that if you guys do find the red lines, you look up the higher end models and the lower end models when you're looking at comps to make sure that yours isn't one of the higher ones when you're looking at this stuff. Because things like this small little detail of this interior are the little things that make this car worth so much more. They're also the things that are easily passed up and overlooked when it comes to valuing these cars. So really doing your research if you do end up finding one of these Hot Wheel red lines is very important and something that you should do no matter when you find them, even if you think you just got a common run-of-the-mill one. But I wanted to share this one with you guys just in case you didn't know about Hot Wheel red lines. You add them to your radar and you are on the lookout in this upcoming garage sale season. Next up, we have this Champion Philadelphia 76ers Allen Iverson jersey. Now, this was a pretty cool piece. I pulled this out of a thrift store probably 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, and I had it listed at the higher end of things at $99.99. So I knew it was going to sit a while because I wasn't coming out and taking some of the lower offers. The reason I decided to price this one up a little bit compared to some of the other jerseys you'll see online is because this specific colorway was not listed on eBay and there weren't any sold comps for this specific one, so I figured it might have been a little bit of a rare one, so I listed it at a little bit higher of a price than what you'll see some of the other ones go for, and that higher listing price ended up paying off. I took a best offer on this of $89.95, which is still above what a normal Allen Iverson jersey will go for. Now, when it comes to vintage jerseys, if you're new to them, you want to look out for Champion jerseys, which is this symbol right here, that's their logo, or you want to look out for Starter Ones is another good brand of jerseys to look for. This one was a pretty desirable player, which helped it a lot in the value. Not all champion and starter jerseys are going to be worth a ton of money like this one. A lot of it is going to depend on the player and the year that that jersey was produced. But as just a baseline thing, look out for your vintage champion jerseys, look out for your vintage starter jerseys, and jerseys in general are just a pretty good seller overall, so make sure you're on the lookout for these. This was a fantastic find. I think I ended up paying like $5 for this, so selling it at $89 is a great profit. Here we have another vintage shirt. This is a Wes Craven's People Under the Stairs t-shirt. This is a old horror movie t-shirt. Now when it comes to vintage t-shirts, there are specific niche categories that sell super well and for some very, very good money. And horror movie t-shirts are one of them. Other ones are like music genre t-shirts, rap t-shirts, anime t-shirts, band t-shirts. This was a really, really clean shirt. This one didn't have like cracking on the front or anything. It looked like it was maybe worn once or twice. It didn't even really look like it had been washed. There's not much fading on the tag. You can see a little bit there on the end, but that's about it. It was overall a really, really clean shirt. Here's a close-up of the print. You can see it's just really clean overall, which definitely helps the value. And when I was researching this, I only saw one other shirt listed online of this exact one, and it was listed on Etsy, and they had it up there for like $100, so I figured I'd put this one on eBay for $100. And I had this listed for a few months before it sold. You can expect that with a lot of vintage shirts that aren't like super popular titles. So if this was like a Friday the 13th shirt or something, it would have sold a lot faster. But People Under the Stairs isn't like a super well-known movie and not a super desirable t-shirt for that movie, which is what made it end up sitting longer. But it was on 15% off sale and sold for a total of $84.96. Not a bad profit at all. I found this one at a St. Vincent de Paul thrift store for like $3, I think, is what they charge for their t-shirts, so that was a great flip. If you're not in the vintage t-shirt scene, it's definitely something that you should learn as a clothing reseller, and it's something that can make you a lot of money, but you need to do your research before you go and buy vintage stuff, because there are a lot of reprints, there is a lot of bootleg stuff, and it is a category of selling that requires a pretty significant amount of knowledge to be successful in. But don't let that scare you. It's definitely something that you can learn, and it's definitely something worth learning. Here we have a Champion reverse weave all over print hoodie. Now the reason I emphasize reverse weave is because that is one of the main reasons that makes this hoodie profitable. And what makes it a reverse weave hoodie is if we look right here on the tag, you can see it says reverse weave, and that is just a very sought after version of the Champion sweaters and the Champion line when it comes to their clothing. A normal Champion hoodie or crew neck sweatshirt that isn't reverse weave is going to be worth basically nothing, maybe $10 or so if you find the right buyer. But the reverse weave ones, even like the ones that have a college name on them or something, go for some very good money, over $30 all day on a reverse weave sweatshirt, and it's something that you need to look for as you're sifting through tags at the thrift store. Now this specific hoodie also had the full print, all over print on it, which made it a pretty cool pattern and a desirable sweatshirt. Kind of fits in that streetwear or hypebeast scene, and it's something that definitely doesn't hurt the value to have a full print or all over print on your products as you're selling them, because that is in right now. But I included this one because I really wanted to put an emphasis on looking for the reverse weave on the tags. It's something that is easily overlooked by a lot of resellers, whether you're experienced or not. It's an easy little small detail that could make you a lot of money in the future. I bought this one at a thrift store in New York City when I was with Josh actually, so this has been sitting since December, and I think I ended up paying like $8 for it up there, and it sold for $54.95. Here we have a Ring stick-up camera with the solar panel with it. This was actually in my death pile for a while, and I just didn't test it out, so it's been sitting there. I finally got around to testing it out. Worked great. It was unlinked to any accounts. That's something that you want to look for with security cameras, is when you plug them in and test them, make sure they're not linked to someone else's account. You want it to be clear and factory reset. And this one did end up being factory reset. I got in, was able to check everything and make sure that nobody else's settings were on it. I had this one listed for $99.99, so $100, and I took a best offer of $90 2 days after I ended up listing this. Now something to point out with this is that this Ring camera by itself would have sold for around the $50 mark, and the solar panel by itself would have sold for around the $20 to $25 mark. But since I bundled them together and the person was able to get both of these pieces from one seller specifically, I was able to charge a little bit of a higher price, and I got more money for these two as a lot than what I would have if I would have separated them and sold them separately, which is nice. Now that might not sound like a huge difference, but that extra 15 or 20 bucks is something that I was able to squeak out for literally no extra work. It would have been more work for me to separate these two. So when it comes to bundling items, if you're able to bundle stuff, sometimes you're able to ask for a higher price and get it, especially when it comes to electronics and people don't want to separate out things from different buyers. Next up, we have a POC item. I've sold a bunch of POC stuff. This was a pair of the VPD 2.0 shorts. This was a used pair of mountain biking shorts. They had like the padding on the sides of the legs and on the tailbone of the shorts themselves, and these sold for a best offer of $65. I've had these sitting for a while. I think I picked these up like 2 months ago, and they've been sitting since then. But it's understandable why these sat for a little bit. When I listed these, it was still in the middle of winter and people weren't out riding their bikes. Now that we're in spring and people are trying to get outdoors more and trying to go bike riding, this stuff is going to start flying off the shelves, and it has been. I'm almost out of cycling gear completely, I think, right now, so it's definitely something I'm going to look for as thrift stores and garage sales start to reopen here. But if you don't know your cycling gear, it's something to look for, and POC brand in general has been a very good seller for me. I found a bunch of POC stuff, from helmets to shorts to shirts to body armor and stuff, in the thrift stores, and they've been an amazing seller for me. I've made some very good money off this POC items. And even though this one was used, I was still able to get a very high price on this. I think I ended up paying like $5 for this, and it ended up selling for $65. So I cannot complain with that price at all. So just keep an eye out for cycling stuff as we move into spring and summer. That stuff is going to be hot sellers and something that you should learn if you don't know about it. Here we have a pair of shoes. These sold for $50. These were Hoka 1-1 Bondi 3 running or trail shoes. Now people are starting to buy this stuff right now because everybody's trying to get out, just like with the biking. They're trying to get out to run, they're trying to get out to walk, they're trying to get out and walk some hiking trails. And this specific shoe is a great brand to look for. Hoka is a fantastic seller. You will always sell this shoe at least $30 for some really rough ones, and up to like $70 for some good used ones. Now this specific pair of Hokas had a little bit of wear to them. They were still in good condition, but there was some scuffing and some scraping I couldn't get off with a magic eraser, like you can see down here on this toe right here. There's still a little scuff mark and stuff, and that's all stuff you just note in the details of the item. But if this would have been in a little bit better of condition, I might have been able to squeak out a few extra bucks out of it. But I'm not complaining with the $50 sale we had here. I had like $5 into these at a thrift store, and they're a pretty common shoe that you can find relatively often at thrift stores or garage sales. So if you don't know Hoka, definitely keep it on your radar and learn that brand, because pretty much all the models of shoes, men's and women's, are going to sell well. Here we have a video game. I had to include one video game in this list. This is Conker's Bad Fur Day for the N64. It's a pretty uncommon title, but it's a pretty well-known title as well, so they are still out there. You can find these floating around at garage sales pretty often. I usually find at least one a season, and it's just a fantastic game to look for. I had doubles of them. This was in that video game clear out that I pulled out of my old video game collection. I had doubles of this, so I sold one off at $79.95, and it sold within a day of me listing it. One thing that you do want to note on this specific game is that it is one of the most counterfeited video games out there. People are reproducing this game, they're reproing it, and you want to know what you're looking for. A lot of times it will say like reproduction cartridge or something right on the label, but if it doesn't, if the colors seem like off or faded or something, you might want to take it with a grain of salt. The best way to check if it's a legitimate copy or not is to go ahead and just open up the cart from these back screws and look at the board and compare it to other boards on the internet. Now I know to you guys out there who aren't into the video game scene might be like, what, people reproduce counterfeit video games and sell them for profit? Yes, it is a thing, and yes, it is a problem, and it's something that people try to hide sometimes. And if you're not in the gaming scene, you might not think that's a big problem, but for collectors, it definitely is. If you get caught selling a reproduction cart and don't mention that it's a repro cart or a bootleg cart or something, you can get in trouble, and it's actually something they can ban your eBay account for selling counterfeit goods. So when it comes to higher end games like this, it is worth opening up the games, checking the boards, and making sure that everything matches up with a legitimate copy. And I'm not saying this stuff to scare you or anything off of selling video games. They are a fantastic thing to sell and definitely something that you should learn, especially going into garage sale season. Like I said, Conker's Bad Fur Day is one to have on your radar if you ever come across Nintendo 64 games. Okay, for this sale, we're going to hop over to Poshmark. I'm just going to show you guys one sale that I've had on here. I do sell on multiple platforms like Poshmark and Mercari, and I just wanted to show you one from one of those platforms to show you that things are still moving on them. This is a pair of Carhartt men's steel toe boots. I had these cross-listed from eBay, and I actually had like 2 or 3 different offers on Poshmark come through, and I didn't have any offers come through on eBay. So that should just show you the power of diversifying where you're listing your items at. Now these boots in particular were in pretty good shape. They had a little bit of wear on the soles, but nothing crazy. The leather was in pretty good shape as well, and I was able to get $60 for these. I bought these in a thrift store. I think I paid up a little bit for these. I think I paid like 10 bucks for them, but turning that $10 into $60, can't complain one bit. Carhartt's a pretty good brand when it comes to looking for work shoes. As you can see right here, if you're not familiar with it, Carhartt boots, if they are in steel toe or they are like the non-slip ones, or they're a specific like mechanic style shoe, or it says like fire resistant or fire retardant on it, those are the kind of stuff you want to look for. This one was steel toe, so that's why it was worth selling for me. Some of the lower end models that don't have the steel toe or the slip resistant or the fire resistant cloth to them aren't worth as much, but they are still good sellers if you can get them for $1 or $2 at like a garage sale. Still worth picking up. Carhartt in general has a pretty good following as a brand when it comes to their fire resistant clothing, their overalls, their boots. Anything from them will have some kind of value if you can get it cheap enough. And here we have the final item I'm going to share with you guys today, and this one is a bolo for you guys right now. If you guys are going to your essential stores and doing your essential shopping at Walmart, they have these on their shelves for $18 a piece. And right now on Amazon, I've been selling them for anywhere between $55 and $70 over the last 2 weeks. They have been great sellers. I'm going to hop over one more screen real fast just to show you guys. In the last 2 days, I've sold 3 of them here on Amazon. One for $68.50, one for $67.98, and one for $67.98. I've also made 2 of these in local sales in the last 2 days. I've been selling locally for 50 bucks a piece, and they are a great flip if you can find them at your Walmart stores right now. And I'm showing you guys this right now because I wanted to show you an item that you can go source right now that is open in the essential stores, and you don't have to wait for thrift stores to open or wait for garage sales and yard sales to start popping up. So I hope this one in particular helps a lot of you guys out, especially for some of you guys who are struggling for inventory. Maybe you'll be able to go and pick a few of these up at your local Walmart and make some extra cash. And like I said, I've been selling these on Amazon as well as Facebook Marketplace, so they are definitely something that you can do locally if you'd rather sell them locally and not have to worry about shipping them. But that's going to wrap things up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like on this video. It's the little thumbs up button right below it. Hit the subscribe button, big red bar, and remember to leave me a comment if you guys did learn something. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, keep on treasure hunting. Peace.